Hey guys, and welcome back to Lewi Productions. Let me get let me get that off first. So, in today's video, we're looking at something again with two wheels. I'm sure there's a lot of bikes in the world that would need introductions. This one, however, I feel like it doesn't need one. As far as I know, nearly everyone knows what this bike is. It's also voted the greatest motorbike in the world, or motorcycle in the world. And if you don't believe that, there's actually a video on YouTube as well that shows that very point. So, welcome to the Honda C50, or the Honda C50 Cub, as it's sometimes known. This one's a 1976 example. I think it's the C50L you call this one. Don't know what the letters is. I've tried to understand it before and got completely lost in it. So the C50 is this version. It was a 50cc or 49cc engine, 4-stroke, semi-automatic, as you'll have seen when I tried to knock it out of gear and pushed it into the wrong gear. So this bike has actually done 8,101 miles, and it's been actually in my family since new. I got this when I was 16, and this was my first on-the-road motorbike, or moped, or scooter, whatever you want to call it. It is a lovely little machine. It never let me down. Wait a minute. I take that back. It let me down once. It broke down on the day to my maths exam. Yeah, that wasn't a good morning. I mean, the exam was fine, but the bike kind of let me down when I didn't want it to. But that's the only time it's ever let me down, to be honest. It's been a lovely little machine. Very simple, and being that it's got the screen on it, it's very good to drive because you can be protected from the wind and the elements a bit. Very simple little machine. It's got electric indicators, horn, headlights, everything you should need off a motorbike really, or a moped. It's also got a parcel carriage, that thing, the parcel carriage rack, parcel rack. Down this side, it's actually even got a helmet holder. So I don't know how you clamp a helmet into that. I know it works because when you take the key, you put it in there, turn, and it goes click, and then push that back, and that's it locked in place. The ignition is on the other side, along with a toolbox, and this side it's the battery. There's not much more to it. I'll tell you its story anyway. So my great-grandmother, or great-granny, bought it in 1976 from Cheens of Aberdeen. So, well, Cheens of Holborn Street I think it was. No, it was Cheens of Aberdeen, because the sticker's still in the front. So Cheens of Aberdeen, they were located on Holborn Street, and they were the Honda agent at the time. Funnily enough, they were also the Reliant agent, and that's where another one of my collection came from at an earlier date. So yeah, but this came from there, and she had it for years, and I believe a few other members of my family drove it. Someone drove it into a tree at one point, so this is actually new. I put a new screen on top of it when I got the bike on the road. So yeah, it was through the wars, but it was a loved bike and well known by a lot of the family. So I should really go into the story of how I got this, because it's a lovely story I find. Kind of always been mechanically minded and mechanically inquisitive when I was younger as well. Used to go up to my great-grandparents' house, and this used to sit with dust sheets all over it. And I was always fascinated with it, because I always remember trying to get my dad to get it running, and we never could. It would do the odd plot, 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 and then that would be it. But yeah, so when I was 6, I was actually promised by my great-granny that when I turned 16, I would get the motorbike. I'd get the Honda. So she actually passed away before I was 16. But my great-granda, when I turned 16, with help of my other grandparents, got the bike delivered down here, and when I came home from school on the bus one day, it was literally sitting in the middle of the road at the end of the drive, and I was like, I've got my bike! And it got a carb when I put it on the road, and that got it working. It's had a new carb recently because that cheaper replica one that I scrimped on years ago, broke. And that's about it. It's totally original. It's had a few tyres on it, because obviously it needs that. It's had not much else done to it. It's a lovely little machine. I mean, it's such a cute little look to it as well. I just think she's a lovely little bike. Totally original, and I don't want to restore it. I love the character of it. I want to preserve it as is, so I'm going to treat some of the areas that have some rust in them and make sure it doesn't get worse and keep it the way it is, because it's a lovely example and it's a great family heirloom kind of motorbike. So yeah, there's not much more to say about it than that. Well, I put a new exhaust in it actually. The original one was still in a bin up at my great grandparents' house when I was having a look the other day. And that's over 10 years ago that well over 10 years ago that I put exhaust in it. Yeah. So anyway, that's about all I can think I need to tell you about this bike right now. We can have a little potter around in it. I mean, the handling of it is fantastic anyway. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm not going to discuss the handling as we drive around in it. I think it's so much easier to just tell you just now how this is. This bike's great fun. It leans, it drives. You're not obviously going to do it like a sports bike where you're on your side going around corners. But it just has its own way of wanting to drive, and it's lovely. The thing that throws you off most of all about this C50 is the front suspension. For as normal suspension on a bike, as you'll know, goes down like that. This one doesn't. It's got basically that. Your front wheel's pivoted here, and there's an anchor point at the back which is connected to some shocker springy stuff in the forks of it. So when you brake, your front wheel goes like that, so it pushes up in there, which does throw you a little bit. And this one's had new bushes into there, because I remember when I was 16 I pulled on the brakes and the wheel went sideways. When I mean sideways, one of them went loose and the other one was tight, and yeah, that was scary. It was actually quite fun, but it was scary as well. But anyway, let's give this a little runabout. You can hear it puttering away, and after that we'll come back and have a little chat and just do normal. I love putting these helmets on. Always remember bike safety, by the way. Helmet. You also should have gloves on, but do I have gloves on me? I have work gloves. Proper bike gloves if you're on the road with these. Well, when you're driving these even. My gloves are, shall we say I've outgrown them slightly. I need to get new ones. Right, off you come. And this is how much I love this bike, because you can just jump on it. Let's put this down. No, we'll leave that up so you can hear me. Put the key on. Kickstarter. And just like that. Lovely, isn't it? Let's give it a little run. See if I don't wheelie when I take off. Oh, I didn't. yes, that's that, guys. I'm going to move back a little bit. What a lovely little bike. I always love driving this one. So yeah. Well, I just noticed I'll have to there'll be a photo after this video to show you a lovely sticker that's on the dash. It's just perfect for really the age of it. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little video of the little Honda C50. I can't remember if I told you this bit earlier. Actually, we'll give you a little bit of information because it's important. The C50 was the smallest version of these bikes. You actually got a C70 and a C90 afterwards. And they were bigger engines, just the same bike but just bigger engine. But anyway, back to the ending. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the little Honda C50 Cub. If you have, remember to give the video a like, and if you want to keep up to date with any of the content coming to the channel, so be it motorbikes, cars, Reliance, freewheelers, any of that stuff, oh, and bonds, we've got to remember the bonds, then remember and hit subscribe, and that'll let you know whenever there's a new video posted to the channel, so you'll be the first to know. Anyway, for now, I'm going to go and get the C50 cleaned up and put away, and I'm going to go enjoy the... This thing must be mumbling my words again. Let's take off the helmet, that might help. There we go, that's better. So, and for now, I'm going to go and give the C50 a clean, and go and enjoy my weekend now, because the weather's coming out quite nice. I might even take this out a run before I clean it. Maybe quite nice to do that. I'll have to check the petrol though, because it only takes I think it's a gallon or a gallon and a half tank, so I'll have to make sure I've got plenty. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time. Let's see if this will fire up again and just head off quite nicely. Of course it would, it's a Honda. Cheerio!